This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We have lots to talk about today, and this, I believe this applies to pretty much anyone at one point in your life or right now. If you're feeling stuck or goals have not been attained, or maybe you feel like you're getting closer to something and then you take like 5 steps back and it's like, why did that even happen? I think I'm on the right path, and now I'm back to square one potentially. It's all about the energy. And we're going to dig into that today. She helps people understand this all the time as a transformational life coach and the energetic blocks. And that's what makes her radically different, in my opinion. She's a coach, but she understands energy in many different ways. She is Farrell Minaker, and she's with us on the show today. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm so excited to be back here for our second episode.
Same. And this is a very relatable topic, I think, for many, whether they're aware of it or not. There's energy is at play here when you're feeling stuck, or things are not going your way, or you take some steps back and you can't figure out why you thought you were in the right path. You hear that from a lot of people you work with?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've felt that in my own life as well before. So, I mean, as humans, it's just part of our nature to, we get stuck on things or hung up on things, and can't understand why we can't move forward or shift things out of the energy that we're in. And so we might be stuck, we might be oscillating, and the ideal one would be we're flowing, everything's flowing well, we like how everything's going and it's just coming easily. But a lot of us are in this stuck or oscillating structure, and we don't even realize that we're there.
So I'm going to go hypothetical for a moment. Let's say you're launching a new business and you're moving along in a decent clip, but you feel stuck and you're not really sure you just can't get yourself forward. Maybe you're afraid to fail, which is very common. You're all excited about this whole idea, but you almost don't execute it because you're thinking like, well, what if it fails? And then I'm going to be deflated. People are going to look at me and judge me. That could be a limiting belief, maybe from your childhood. I'm going to throw that out there. But it could be stuck energy. So how do you know the difference between the two?
Yeah. So, well, you'll know, because if you're stuck and things aren't moving, and all these fears and traumas and things start bubbling up to the surface and come up to your active experience, let's say, it, you can feel it energetically, right? So it's hard when you're in that. So if you're opening a new business and you have that fear, right? And a lot of us do, something new, something different. It doesn't feel safe. It's unknown, charted territory. So, your different aspects of us automatically kick in, and that's our survival mechanism to keep us safe. So when those things happen, we instantly go, nope, that's not safe. I'm just going to go right back to where I was. And that's when we go back to, that's more like an oscillating, right? You start to move forward a little bit, and then the 2 steps forward, 5 steps back kind of thing. That's the oscillating structure. You keep going for what you love, and then you keep swinging back to where you were before, because that's where your body feels safe. And that's what our bodies, our minds were designed to do, right? That's how we were programmed, is anything that's new is scary and it's unsafe. Like, the saber-toothed tiger is might be right around the corner coming to get you. And so it's survival. But there's a lot of things that we can do to get out of that and be in a better structure of moving forward and free flowing.
You said the word safe probably 4 times. And as time goes on, I realized that that's where much of this is. We want to be safe. We want to feel safe in all different areas, Is that really the baseline for everything here? Pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we were, that's just genetics and programming that we've
Hmm.
been taught. That's how we grew up. We when we're kids, you have a terrible experience, your brain learns from that experience and it goes, okay, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good. It didn't feel safe. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So then our brains start building in these, um, you can call them barriers because they kind of are, but they're just um, different ways to keep us protected so that we don't get hurt again in the same way. So
Hmm.
trying to break out of that is not something that most people know how to do because we've never been taught how to do that. And that's where we get back to the oscillating or stuck structure. So we need
I,
tools and people to help us move forward.
and oscillating, can you define that? I mean, I'm a geek when it comes to electronics. I know what an oscillator is, but but it, explain it. Just I want to make sure we have it clear.
Yeah. So you just um, think of it like a pendulum. Okay.
Okay.
So you're here and you want to get to, so you're point A, you want to get to point B, right? So you start moving towards it. This business is going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And then all of a sudden you get here and there's tension and you start to feel like, oh my God, that's when all the fear comes up. And then you instantly just go right back to point A, right? And you're swinging back to that same point where it feels safe, it's comfortable. Okay, I couldn't do it anyway. All the self-doubt and all that stuff starts coming up, and then you just keep going. It's just a circle that just keeps going around and around and around. You just keep ending back at the same point that you started at.
Because it's safe, right?
Because it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to believe too that we probably make a lot of poor or not great choices because we crave familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we want to feel safe. Even picking people in our lives, even picking a partner, what that special person in your life. How many times have we heard, there's no good men out there. I don't know what it is. I keep finding the same ones that are just, this or that. Same thing with men saying the same thing. I have friends and that, men that say all women are crazy. Well, why? Because you're finding them for a reason, and that probably is because it's comfortable, whatever that reason is, and you
Yep.
feel safe. Like the more and more I'm seeing this, and that safe word, I've been hearing it a lot lately, and now it's kind of making sense for me that why we do what we do.
Yeah, and that is all, and we all are in a different energetic vibration as well, right? So there's different it really is like different levels. So if you've ever looked at Dr. David R. Hawkins, he explains this beautifully in his book called Power versus Force, and how we all have different energetic levels, right? You can go at, you know, bottom level is, I think it's guilt or shame, and you're at a very, very low vibration, right? So then you're going to be attracting everything at that same vibration. Whereas, courage is way up here and it's, I believe, 200 megahertz for a vibration. So you're in a much different place up here in courage than you are down here in shame, right? So you're not going to be attracting the same things either. So that also plays a part in that
Mm.
as well. And so you have to be able to, that's where it's great to have a coach come in and help you identify, okay, where you actually are, because you may not even have any idea why you're stuck or why you're in the energy or the mindset that you're in.
Mm.
um, and then you start shifting those things. So we use a lot of different meditations, and one of them that actually came up when you were talking about the fear of starting a new business is, there's a bunch of different meditations, but basically what we're doing is we're working on to, okay, level the playing field. Like, okay, so what if you fail? So what if it's, not successful and people say it was terrible and you get all kinds of awful feedback. Okay, so what? And then we use a few different meditations actually, to go, okay, well, that's fine. Just be okay with that, and let's look at where you do want to be, and just kind of start to match them so that they're balanced. And so yeah, there's good things about the fear and what you can learn from, having a failed business or, a scary experience. And there's good things and bad things about being successful and having a great business, and starting to match that energy and just being okay with where you are right now. Because a lot of people, again, get stuck in that structure of, what I want in my desired reality is better than what I have in my current reality. And if you're constantly in that mindset, you're never going to move forward to where you want to be, because you always think that the new desired reality is better than what you have. And if you can't accept or be happy with what you already have, then you can't move forward to that new one, because you're already in the future of where you were 3 seconds ago, right? You're still constantly moving into the future.
Hmm. And I've heard that too, even lately, that we already created the future. Sorry,
Yep.
it's already done. You already did it by living the way you live. And there's
That's
many,
right.
we could pivot over to manifesting or do a whole podcast on that. But the belief is,
Yep.
as I look at my vision board right here, that we need to believe that that's already here. All those things you want, they're already here. Or they're at the very tip of your finger and it hasn't arrived yet, but it's so close in your belief, if you can believe that. And here's a weird one. I put a car up there on my whole board. I was like, it's a cool car. I'm gonna throw it up there. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I keep seeing that car in that color. It's the weirdest thing. And I don't own it yet, but I will, if you want to say that.
Yep.
But it's even this weekend, I'm driving down a road. I'm like, well, look at that. It's right over there. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Um, the highest vibration is love. Is that correct?
I believe so. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me just look at it right here.
I've often heard that, and I always
The
wondered.
love is actually, so I've got the book right here actually,
Oh, cool.
and it gives you a list
Oh,
of
wow.
all of the different vibrations and whatnot. So enlightenment is actually at the top. Love is about 4 underneath that, but it's pretty high. There's very, very few people in this world that have reached enlightenment. In fact, most people are below, like around 125 megahertz for vibration. And then there's a few other people, like Gandhi was really high up there, Einstein. I think they were up in like the 600 to 700s for their vibrational level. So they actually raise up the vibration of everybody else around them.
How can we measure that? Is there, I've always wondered, like, is it just your mindset? Is it kind of like, ballpark it? Is there a way to measure it?
I like to measure it. I feel like it's accurate to use that. I use a pendulum and a chart to see what people's vibrations are at. But we all do have a baseline. You can raise your baseline up. With manifesting though, and you seeing that car, I want to go back to that for a second. I found that really interesting. So it's like you said, you're right there. It's at the tip of your finger. You're seeing people driving it around in that color. So how do you get? So you're kind of oscillating there. It's, I see it, but I haven't got it. But I see it and I want it, but I haven't got it. And I see everybody else having this. So funny enough, I was on the phone with my aunt last night, and she was telling me about a new car that she was going to get. She loved this car. She was so excited about it. She said, how do I make it become a reality? And I said, here's a quick, easy little meditation for you to do. I want you to sit down, close your eyes. I want you to visualize that you are actually sitting in that car. Your hands are on the steering wheel. The air is blowing on your face. You've got your favorite tunes on. You're looking around. You're literally sitting inside this car and you're feeling what it feels like to actually already own this, even though you have to sit in the energy of, I've already got it. It's already mine, and visualize that way. Because the opposite is if you're looking at it going, oh, that person has that. That's the car I want. I'm never going to get it. Everybody else seems to have it but me. Why isn't it coming to me? Two totally different energies, right? You can feel that.
Oh yeah. And it's coming from a place of lack, which is just going to derail everything. I will tell you though, I wasn't thinking that when the car went down the street. I was like, cool, somebody else has my car. Ooh. Like I wasn't like, oh, I wish I had it. There it goes. But I completely agree with you. Like right down to even smelling the leather. It's like, new car smell. Wow. Yeah. The wind's blowing through my hair. We've pivoted over to manifesting here. So I'm going to throw another question at you based on that, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I manifested the perfect person a few years ago.
Okay.
I just like, there it is. Everything, like right down to little this, that, like, wow, that's it. Except I left one thing out, and that was basically emotional availability. How specific do we need to get in putting that energy into something or some things that you want in your life?
So it's tricky with people because what comes into play is free will. And what a lot of us get stuck on again is that we are able to control our own reality, but we are not able to control other people and their reality around them. So when we look at the person that they're the absolute perfect person for us, except we're focusing on it having to be that specific person. And it may still be that person, but attaching, let's call her Mary,
Sure.
just for example purposes, right? Let's just call, I love everything about Mary, but I need her to be more this. Well, Mary's only going to do that if she wants to change that, right? So what you could do in your mindset is don't focus on it having to be her needing to change. Just focus on the things that you would love to have in that person. And it may still be Mary, but it may not be, right? And
Yep.
And I think trying to detach a physical person from what we think we want and have to have is difficult.
I totally get what you're saying, where it could be somebody else shows up, and that's the way it should be if you have the right intention and you put the energy in the right place, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, because otherwise you're limiting yourself, right? And again, it's not that you're saying, well, I don't want to be with this person anymore. That's not it at all.
Yep.
It's just about deciding what you want. And if that takes you in a totally different direction, well, then that takes you in a totally different direction. There's so many times in my life, especially lately, that I've just let go of things and said, you know what? I don't know, this isn't working. So I'm just going to put it out there that this is what I want in my list of things. And it doesn't, you don't have to get right down to dates and those small details if you don't want to. You don't have to be that specific.
Sure.
But I would just love to have these things. It's all about what you would just love to have for no other reason than because you would love to have it. That's the most important thing. And then, man, when you let go of the control of that, your life will go in so many different directions than you ever thought it would go, and go, wow, never in a million years could I have thought up how I would have gotten here. I just knew that this is what I wanted, but could never have figured out that this is the path that it was going to take.
I've heard that often from quite a few people, and they did just what you said. They worked
Mhm.
with somebody like yourself, and they even their mind is blown where they're like, I thought I was going to go into a business selling widgets, but no, I'm selling tires and I'm doing fantastic and I love it more than I ever thought it would be selling widgets. But where I'm going with this is we think we know what we want. Many times we don't. It's
Mhm.
the universe knows. And that's where I believe what you're saying. Just let it go. Just leave whatever's supposed to be is going to be. As much as maybe you fight it. No, I want a blue car. No, it's got to be blue. No, maybe not.
Yeah.
She's got to be blonde. No, they that somebody might be perfect that shows up that has dark hair and is wonderful, but you're not going to know unless you're open to it, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's not necessarily that it it has to be, you no, she has to be, I think it's more about I think we do know what we want. That's what I'm trying to get at. I think we do know what we want. We just don't know how to uncover that true result, right? Like it's all about picking a true choice.
Mhm.
So you might want that blonde and say like she has to be blonde, but really what you're actually, when you go through all the questions and we uncover all of these different things, you find out that, well, it's not that you really want her to be blonde. You just, maybe she reminded you of somebody that you really liked their personality, and that person happened to be blonde. So what you really want is that kind, loving, giving person,
Yep.
instead of I want a blonde, right?
100%. And we're back to the beginning right here, I do believe. Why do you want that blonde? Again, we're hypothetical here because you
Yep.
feel safe with it. Why do you feel safe with
Mm-hmm.
it? It could be based on a past relationship. It could be might remind you of your mom and you don't even know it, but there's a
Yep.
safety aspect attached to it. Would you say that that's fairly reasonably accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that's why I go through with clients and we really uncover what their actual true desires and wants are. And if I always tell people, if something's coming up, if you're saying, I want all kinds of money, and then you give all the different reasons why well, I have to have it because I'm in debt and because that's what successful people have. And well, no, then you don't really want money because you want money. You want to feel successful. You feel like you want the status, maybe because you'd love to have that instead. But if you don't love what you're choosing, it's not true.
Right. And it's not probably not going to happen.
And it's probably not going to happen, yeah, because you're not really choosing what you'd actually love to have. You're just picking the first thing that pops into your head because you think that's what you're supposed to choose, and that's not what it's about. It's about really digging deep and getting to the heart of what people truly desire. And it's so funny when you start doing that with people, that people really do know what they want. They just don't know how to like unlock it.
What you say makes us think, or rethink how we're going about this, whether you're new to manifesting or you've been doing it for a while. And I love how you run deep when you need to run deep. Like this is a little woo, I get it, but it's understandable. It's very clear, and this is just pieces of the puzzle that you put together for people when you work with them when it comes to energy, coaching, and all of that. Farrell, how do we find you? How do we connect with you?
Yeah. So my website, I wish it was up and running. It's still
No, 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 no. It will be very
it
soon.
will be, it is in the works. It will be up and running. Yes, absolutely. That website is farrellminakercoaching.com. But in the meantime, I do have some special summer programs running for people. And in the meantime, they can email me at fjminakercoaching at gmail.com. And I can send them all the information there because I've still got it all together. You just can't click on a website to look at it yet. But special promo is going on right now, especially because tomorrow is Canada Day.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
all of my pricing is in Canadian, which if you're in the US is a whole lot cheaper.
And I've noticed that before too. I want to tell everybody your first name, Farrell, and Minaker, Minaker. Great having you on here. Love your energy. And I mean that when I say that. It's,
Thank you.
And I see things very differently. And the safe thing, it's been coming up for me a lot. And you just reconfirmed it, why we do what we do. And it's great. I appreciate you being here and looking forward next time we get together.
Absolutely. Me too. And hey, let me know if you'd like to do a session.
I definitely will. In the meantime, I'm going to go shopping for a blue car. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, go sit in one. Go take it for a test drive.
Right?
Get a little bit closer to that reality.
I can smell that leather. All right. We'll catch up next time. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.